Chloe, if you'd like to go ahead and get us started.
Sure thing. So today we have Mr. Darren with us. I thought I would go ahead and just give a little bit of my experience so far, just to make sure that everybody feels comfortable. So I first reached out to Darren in my second semester, my second semester at Pellissippi, because I was nervous that I wasn't doing all the right things that I needed to be doing. So I just sent him an email and he got back to me, let me know. I then followed up with him the next semester, and I've done that every semester since. And I'm sure he's sick of me, but it's better safe than sorry. And I know that he's there for everybody who has questions or concerns. So with that said, I will pass it over to Mr. Darren Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Chloe. Thanks for that kind introduction. I am the Pellissippi coordinator for UT. So under pre-pandemic circumstances, I was in the Hardin Valley Campus Advising Center. And I went to all the other campuses as well. I live in Blount County, so I go there, Strawberry Plains, Division Street, and Magnolia. And I just spent a lot of time just explaining the process of transfer with students. And so today what I wanted to do was, first of all, I'm not sure how much time I have. I don't want to run over my allotted time or talk you guys to death. So, oh, okay, wow, all right. Well, that's more of me than you want, trust me. But what I want to do is share with you a bit about the process, and I'm going to use that with my 5 favorite web pages on our UT site for transfer, so that you have those resources, you know where to go, and most of all, so you know who to contact. If you don't know who to contact at UT, you can always call me and I will find the right person, because sometimes at UT, given its size, it is our state's flagship university, sometimes it's just a matter of finding that right contact. And so usually that's the email I get. What do I do for this? Okay. Am I able to screen share on this, or will I be able to do that? Okay. I'm going to see if I'm going to go ahead and pull up my my first web page here. Okay. Okay, good. Now, can everyone see that? Is that okay? Okay, good. Okay, now the home page for the UT Transfer Center, and we do have a transfer center. I'm a part of that, okay? It involves transfer counselors, a director, and transcript evaluators. And so we all work together to help you get transfer credit information and a number of other things. But all of it starts with transfer.utk.edu. There's a couple of things I want you to see here. First of all, ooh, that was too fast. We now have virtual office hours, and we've had them for a couple of months, but if you just want to drop in and you have a question, it's right here. You just go right through this site. You can come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and you'll have a transfer counselor there. It may be me, it may be Sarah Hopper, our East Tennessee counselor, or Carrie Hines, who works in Middle Tennessee, but we all meet daily. We all talk about transfer and whatever issue comes up. So we like literally meet daily in Microsoft Teams. And sometimes we have a transcript evaluator who's waiting there for you, so they can give you some really in-depth information about transfer credit. You can also schedule it with us too, so if you want a specific transfer counselor. So that is a good resource going forward whenever you're planning to transfer, or if you're just in a bind and you've been admitted and you just don't know what to do next. That's a good place to go. We're all going to help you. One of the first questions I get about applying is, first of all, where to go. I'm going to show you how to start that, but when to do it. If you'll notice, our deadlines for fall are July 1st. That seems like a long way away. Okay, that's a deadline to have application and all materials, your transcripts. But we start reviewing applications as early as the fall semester before. I have been reviewing and admitting Pellissippi State students this month, and they will be getting letters in December or early January saying you have been admitted. And let me tell you, I have admitted a lot of Pellissippi State students. Our GPA on average for transfers is above 3.0. It's like almost 3.2. So we get and particularly who, our Phi Theta Kappa students, they're excellent, of course. So for fall, if you've got 24 credit hours of work, 2 full-time semesters, and you want to apply for fall, go right ahead. And then you just update us with transcripts. You don't have to wait until you've actually completed all your work. Same thing for spring. For spring, of course, our spring semester 2021 is starting January 20th, which is a little later in the year than we usually start, but that's good news. That gives you a little more time to work. But we start admitting students for spring as early as late August, early September. And then summer, we get people who are applying now for summer. And our application is set up so that you can apply for any of those 3 semesters, okay? So I want to take you next. First of all, do I have any questions? And I will check the chat too. I have to keep an eye on the chat to see if anybody has a question. No, I can't see it very well.
Darren, Eva, I was just going to say, Yvette is our moderator today, so she's going to
Okay.
collect all the questions for you, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I hadn't thought about, and I'm still learning my way around. So when you apply, you hit this little button down here for apply for admission. It's going to take you to this page, okay? And it has some good instruction on what order to do things, deadlines, how to apply, and telling you to submit your college transcripts right away. When you apply, submit your transcripts, okay? And Pellissippi State makes it easy because you can do that through your My Pellissippi account. That's one way to do it. If you're a current student, I don't think they charge you anything for it, okay? So that's nice. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna select your Vol in Progress account, and that's really important because that is the account that enables you to get to the online application and enables you to monitor the progress on your application. I know you get this tip a lot at Pellissippi State. It was probably said to you a dozen times during orientation, but they're always telling you to check your email. Well, once you sign up for your VIP account and once you apply, you should check the email account associated with that VIP account regularly, because we send out we send your admissions decision out that way along with regular mail. But email is probably the first way you're going to find out. So you do that, and within that online application, and for this school year, it's Transfer 2021, you're going to have a choice of semesters, spring, summer, or fall. You can select any of those right now. They may have added spring 2022 to it, which I'm not used to, but so we do have people applying pretty far out for spring. Let's see. Now, in addition to the application, sometimes people they run into something they don't understand. They'll see a question like, do you want to opt in for reverse transfer, which is just for people who aren't completing their associate's degree and they want to complete it when they go to their next institution. There's a way to do that. So they don't know how to answer that question. Sometimes something else will come up. If you get hung up on anything, you can always just email or contact one of us in the transfer center. You can email me. I get those emails all the time. That's what I do. I look for them all day long, and I'll help you with whatever issue comes up. I'm not IT by any means, but I can get you there, okay? So if you have any problems with that, please let me know. One of the things we talk a lot about is transfer credit. When I was, right now I'm doing a lot of Zoom meetings, but when I was on campus at Pellissippi State, I would sit down and just have one-on-one meetings with students about whether or not their credit was going to transfer and how did they know if it was going to transfer. And sometimes we just go over their transcript, okay? And in some cases that would lead to discussions about, well, how many semesters or years do I have left at UT, which is another question altogether. So we start with transfer credit first, okay? Academic plans, I need a little help with those. I can't do those, but we can start with transfer credit. We do have an online equivalency table. This is a dynamic database. It's updated every time we get a course and we accept it. We put that in our table, okay? So for Pellissippi State, we get more transfer students from Pellissippi State than any other school. So that's a well-worn path, and that means that you're going to have a table that's chock full of information about transfer. Okay, and if you've been to another school, you have to look that up as well, and you have to send those transcripts as well. But so when you pull that up, you just put in your state, and I know some of you have done this, so forgive me. You put in your state and your school, Pellissippi State, and it's going to be right there for you. And it'll be alphabetized. Let's see if I can just do this. This is not moving for me. Okay, little navigation trouble. But this table's a very good table, and I use it all the time. If you're in a situation where you don't find something on the table or you don't understand it, you just want to talk to a person, okay? On this same page, you'll find contact information for our transcript evaluators. They work with us in the Transfer Center, and they are wonderful, okay? I would just call them or just send an email to utktransfereval@utk.edu. If they don't know the answer, they'll find someone who will, but they generally know if your credit's going to transfer or not. And so we have out-of-state students calling that number and emailing, and we also have in-state students. And so they're very helpful. If you want, you can send you can just send a screenshot of your transcript and circle specific courses. Say, I can't find these, or I don't know if you'll take these, or I don't know what I'm seeing on the transfer evaluation table. I don't get it. Can you explain it to me? And we will do that, okay? So, and upon admission, when you're admitted, you will get a transcript evaluation, but most students want to know that stuff before they come over, and we get that. We understand that, so we want to help you with that. All right, let me go next to, oh, and I'd mentioned academic plans earlier. In some cases, these discussions about transfer credit, am I following the right pathway, things like that, lead to discussions about, well, I'd like to meet with an advisor at UT. We can help you arrange a meeting as a prospective student. The advisors there are really great about that. But it's difficult to get one at a peak time. So if you want to do it, you just got to plan for it is all. You can't ask in July to meet in August. It may or may not happen. So that's something else I help students do. I try and connect them with the appropriate person in their major. Let's talk a little bit about scholarships, because that's kind of a long discussion. Once students get admitted, they kind of want to know, that we talk about scholarships before, but they really want to have that discussion after they're admitted too. Probably the scholarship that is we give out the most for our incoming transfers is our volunteer transfer scholarship. You have to have an associate's degree for that. It has to be an associate of arts or associate of science. Any concentration, doesn't matter what you majored in. What it cannot be, and sometimes this is bad news, is it can't be one of the AAS degrees. Okay, it's a career track degree. And so I've had to give that bad news before. I don't like to, because we have great students across the spectrum. The other requirements are you have to have a minimum GPA of 3.25, and you have to go to UT right after you graduate. So if you graduate in December, you should be coming over in January, and if you graduate in May, then August. Okay, we're not going to penalize you for summer. And just depending on your GPA, there's one for $1,500 annually. If you have a 3.25, if you have a 3.5, it is $3,000, and if you have a 3.75, it's $5,000. And these are stackable. So what that means is you're going to get this along with all your other aid. So if you have the Hope Scholarship, the non-traditional Hope Scholarship, you receive a Pell Grant, a TSAA grant, any of those awards, need-based or merit-based, it's all going together. So it's a good award to have. If you have attended a four-year school beforehand, that will make you ineligible. I have students who are coming back to Pellissippi State from UT. They're readmission students, and they are surprised to learn they don't qualify. I wish it weren't that way, but that is the criteria right now. And so right there's our table. I should have scrolled down there earlier. We've got other scholarships too. We do have a Phi Theta Kappa scholarship. and there's a limited number. There's 25 scholarships total for each incoming group, okay? But most of our students aren't Phi Theta Kappa students either. So that sort of narrows that number too. So we have that. This scholarship is available along with a bunch of others through our annual competitive scholarship application, which you do once a year for UT, either as a new student or as a continuing student. The good news is you're going to do it every year for fall, the start of the school year. But if you're coming in the spring, you don't get to fill it out for the spring semester. Okay, it's just once a year. And that scholarship is associated with 1,400 scholarships across the university. And there's a range of them. And I'll just sort of give you an idea of what they're based on. These are one-year scholarships. Their amounts range from $500 to $2,500, and they're based on merit, community service. You see that entire list there. There's a lot of things that go into your scholarship consideration. And some of those are departmental, some of those are related to your major. Some of the academic colleges have scholarships that are diversity and equity scholarships. Tickle College of Engineering, for instance, has those. That's just an example. And so there's a range of stuff out there available for you on either the merit side. Now on the need-based side, always do your FAFSA early. You probably know that. You know, my PTK students are very sharp about that. I generally don't have to say that to them, but if you think you might get any need-based aid, you want to do that application before February 1st for UT. February 1st is a priority deadline for UT. And that will help you to maximize your financial aid. And that's very important. Let's see. And then related to that, of course, we've got three scholarships that are considered full tuition scholarships. One is for students who are coming from what we call our Promise schools. We had to rename this the Flagship Scholarship because of our new UT Promise program. But so if you attend, for instance, in Knoxville, Austin East, or Fulton, those are schools that are eligible for the Flagship. And then there's also the Pledge, which is based in part on your income and the completion of the associate's degree. UT Promise is a little bit different from your Tennessee Promise, and I'll go ahead and just show you that. Let's talk about this a little bit. UT Promise is a last dollar scholarship, just like the Tennessee Promise, but there is a requirement for you to have the Hope Scholarship or the non-traditional Hope Scholarship. You don't have to complete the associate's degree though, so that's different. There is a requirement for community service hours, and you will see that both the application and the eligibility are right here on the UT Promise page. You can apply. This would be the path you would follow right here. The second one, not current high school students, seniors, but others, because we have current students as well as new students who are not high school students. And then you find your eligibility criteria here, and there is an income limit with that scholarship. And then of course there's also that requirement for the Hope Scholarship. It's a pretty simple application to fill out. It's just one page, and the deadline for it is July 1st. But you know, if you apply for fall, I would go ahead and do that UT Promise application along with your admissions application. And regarding the annual scholarship application, you will get access to that upon admission. So that's kind of one of the reasons I try and encourage people to apply early, is that you know, if you're admitted early, you get access to the scholarship application, and you can start thinking about signing up for confirming your enrollment and signing up for advising, which is something people want to do. Your advising dates, they're kind of like your dates at Pellissippi State. Everything seems to open in April for fall, and for spring, everything tends to open in October, okay? So UT Promise, you'll have more questions about that We're still learning about the UT Promise. It's only been rolled out a year. So you may ask me a question I don't know, you probably will, and I will probably have to chase that down, okay? Let me talk a little bit about guaranteed admission. For certain majors, there is guaranteed admission. If you have the associate's degree, if you have a 3.0 GPA, and if you're applying for one of the non-competitive majors at UT Knoxville, then you can get I can guarantee admission to that. The ones that are considered competitive or that are not included in this group are engineering, nursing, architecture, and kinesiology in our teacher preparation program. So if you're wondering, if your major falls in that group anywhere, just let me know. I'm glad we can offer that. And on the subject of admissions, we look first at your college coursework. If you have 24 transferable hours, you have 24 basically years worth of work, we're going to focus on your college transcript, okay? But if you have less than that, you're a freshman, it's your first semester at school, your second semester, I guess you wouldn't be in PTK your very first semester, but your second semester of school, then we would require high school transcripts as well and your test scores. But in most cases, students are able to be admitted just based on their college coursework, which I think is good news. Let's see here. Talk a little bit about cost. I usually have the scholarships and cost questions. Now, all of this is available under our transfer.utk.edu website. This is just under financing your education. You'll find a chart here for current tuition rates and fees. And so right now, UT is annually, if you're in state, your total is $13,264. And that is that's before any aid is applied. That's just the number before any scholarships are applied, anything like that. And then you will find, and get ready for this, because this is some tiny type. That's wonderful, isn't it? So user-friendly. But let me show you the number you need to pay attention to. If your in-state total is going to be, right here in the, I don't know, can you see my cursor? Katie, can you see a cursor? No? Okay, good. All right.
I can see your little guy. If you maybe blow up the PDF itself,
Oh,
you were almost there. So if you scroll in the corner, in the bottom right corner, yep. And then just
wouldn't
press,
that be helpful?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, good.
That helps.
That's a little better. Your total for one semester, all fees, tuition is $6,632. So times two gets you to $13,264. Okay. Where you see any additional fees are if you're in engineering, or if you're in nursing, or if you're in architecture, and you can find those down here in the even finer print, okay, right there. And so when you're thinking about costs, you kind of have to factor in that extra per semester hour charge. Now, if you're not in any of those majors, engineering or nursing, architecture, you're not going to be faced with those extra per hour charges. And business, sorry, can't forget that. I have a lot of students who transfer who go to the Haslam College of Business, so there is that additional per semester hour charge there. And so whenever I have discussions, we tend to cover a lot of these things. And so for those of you who are thinking about applying for fall, you could do that now. Spring, definitely right now. We have, people are starting to get ready for transfer orientation right now. One last thing, and I'm going to start looking at questions. One big difference between Pellissippi State and UT is that orientation and advising are very strongly linked at UT. You register for transfer orientation, then your advisors are notified and they contact you, and we're doing it all virtually and online right now. So you don't have to really go seek out your advisor, which is nice. So you don't have to do all that, but let's just get into the questions here.
Okie doke. So we have a lot of questions. First of them being, so if I am transferring in spring 2020 and I'm a current PTK member, I won't be able to apply for the PTK scholarship in the spring?
Yes, that's correct. You won't be able to apply for that in spring. That's right.
Okey-doke. Next question would be, what would be the most appropriate time for prospective students to meet with the UTK advisors?
You know, anytime that you want to talk about your academic plan, you have questions that that are really program specific, you know, or if you're, you know, there, sometimes you hit a gray area in your academic advising. You meet with your Pellissippi State advisor, which I hope you're doing every semester, and they look at your pathway and they say, I'm not sure which math course to take. They've changed this. Those are good instances to reach out to a UTK advisor. Let me tell you, there's nothing that stops you from just looking up that department and emailing that advisor, okay? And if you want to do that, go right ahead. And if you don't get a response and you want somebody to call and say, hey, I'd like to help arrange a meeting for a student, then I'll help you do that. The advisors there, just like the ones at Pellissippi State, they're really covered up. So they get a lot of emails, but they welcome your contact though. It's a good question. Keep them coming.
Thank you. The next one would be, I wasn't eligible for the Hope Scholarship because I didn't go to high school here. Does that mean that I won't be eligible for UT Promise?
Usually, yeah, usually. I mean, the requirements don't change from school to school. I mean, you can always ask them to take a second look at it. They'll, you know, I'm glad you mentioned the Hope. When you apply, you do want to submit your high school transcript for your Hope certification. We have to have the high school transcript to certify you for eligibility. So that is something that you could talk to, you could ask financial aid about. But generally, you know, if it's no at Pellissippi State, it may well be no at UT, okay?
Okie doke. And so far, our last question is, why do specific majors like engineering, nursing, architecture, and business have additional per semester charges?
You know, I don't, you know, I'm not sure when they implemented those charges. So the answer is, I don't know, okay? I will say this, those are very competitive majors and there's a high demand for them. With engineering, they're always expanding and, you know, they've added 2 buildings in the last, you know, the last 10 years and they're, you know, so they're always growing. Haslam College of Business is always growing and they're adding resources and faculty. So that, you know, just the cost of increasing instruction, that may be part of it, but I'll be honest, I don't fully understand. Okay.
Thank you. And another question is that you mentioned transcript administrators could review transcripts.
Yes.
What was the email address for that? Could you give us that?
Oh yeah. We have 3 transcript evaluators in our transfer center. I know them well. We talk every day. Okay. And so what you want to do is just send your question to UTK trans, TRANS eval at utk.edu. So all one word, UTK trans eval at utk.edu. And they will help you.
Thank you so much.
We have a just a general email box. I'm going to put it in the chat here. And all of us transfer counselors are always checking this, okay? It's just kind of a catch-all. So if you just had something that was transfer related, you didn't have time for a call or you didn't want to Zoom or anything like that, and you couldn't remember that guy that you talked to, then send it to transfer@utk.edu. Okay? We will answer you. If it's a Pellissippi State student, I'll reach out to them personally and just say, hi, you contacted us, so let me see what else I can do to help you with. And if your application, you just want to know about your application, check in with me because I look up applications a lot too. Okay? Those are great questions, Yvette.
It was from all our students, not from me.
Oh, okay. Okay, good collection. I knew they would be though.
They were really good questions.
All right. So thank you, Darren. If there are no more questions, I would like to go ahead and plug our meeting for tomorrow. Again, tomorrow, Tuesday, the 17th at 7 p.m. I'm going to be leading a meeting, which we're going to be helping our members apply for scholarships, going through the PTK scholarship process. So if you would like some help or feeling a little overwhelmed and are just nervous to do it because I know it's somewhat a long process, please join us tomorrow evening, and I'd be happy to help you with that. I'm going to pass it over to Edward for a few words, and then you'll come back to me.
Thank you, Chloe. So with the end of the semester coming up, we're going to have a couple officers graduating. And with that said, yay! We'll have 6 open positions that we're going to do the elections from at the end of the semester. The job transcripts for those elections are, it was attached in the email for this meeting this morning. And just like a quick summary, basically, if you're interested in applying for any of those or running for those positions, you just need to write a short statement or like record a video of yourself saying why the position would suit you and why you would be good at that position, and email it to either Dr. Ross or Mrs. Horn, and they'll play it over at the meeting and we'll run the elections. We're very excited to work with you guys if you guys are interested in running. And yeah, I did this recently and it was fun. It was good.
I just wanted to add that the deadline for that is next Tuesday. So the end of next Tuesday, I'll be putting everything for the election together over the Thanksgiving break, and the actual elections will take place during the final week of courses.
I would just like to plug, as the current PTK president, if you are, I don't think there's ever anybody perfect for the job. I am certainly not perfect for the job, and I didn't think I was going to be, but I knew that I wanted to give it my what I could. So if you have an inkling or you think that you can even be beneficial to PTK, do it. It's great. You won't regret it. And with that said, thank you, Darren, for being here today, and thank you for everybody who joined us. Again, we hope we see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. for our scholarship help session. And he put his email in the chat, so if you need to reach out to him, do so through email. And that is all that I have. Does anybody else have anything? No? Thank you.
I was just going to say, I typed up the notes today, and I'll end the recording, and I'll be able to send that out to the whole group. But again, thank you, Darren, for joining us today. You gave us quite a bit of information to chew on, and hopefully we can see a lot of our PTK members out there at UTK.
Thank you all. Thank you for inviting me. You have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.